Hey, how's it going? All right, so let's talk about conversions. If you're an e-commerce seller, you probably are already thinking, how do I get more conversions? And you may have heard of social proof, right? But there's two things I've found when I've been working with clients closely and just working with students and working with a lot of sellers in the space. And what a lot of them don't realize is two things. One, there's different types of social proof, right? It's not just one type. I think the most common, and maybe you think this as well, but one of the most common that people think is reviews. And reviews are very, very powerful. But there's actually different types of social proof. And there's one in particular that, from what we've seen, is probably the most powerful in terms of turning visitors into buyers. So I was actually looking up some stats because I wanted to sort of compare and get some sort of data on what's out there on reviews and why they're so effective, or why is it that we know that we need reviews, but why do they work so well? So I was looking here that 70% of online consumers look at a product review before making a purchase. So that's a touch point. We always talk about touch points and moments of truth, right? Each touch point is an opportunity for you to have a moment of truth for somebody who's thinking about buying to say, like this is different. Man, I think I want to do business with this company. And every touch point, it starts with our ad, it's emails, it's our website. There's all these touch points. There could be dozens. In fact, L'Oreal they came out with a study that they did where they engineer 24 or 25 touch points before somebody buys a skincare product. Like they actually go out of their way to make sure there's that many touch points. Now, most sellers won't do that, but what I found is most sellers don't really think about the touch points at all. So just being aware of the fact that each one of those touch points is a moment of truth or opportunity for a moment of truth for people to go, like, wow, that's very cool. You take Two Blind Brothers, for example. I love that company. I love what they're doing. And they have a mission-based USP. So when they have a moment of truth, where you get to their website, the first thing they do is they call out that USP. They mention to you, hey, our mission is to cure blindness. So right away, that's a moment of truth. It's not just a touch point, it's a moment that you'll remember. In fact, I'm sharing this with you now because I remembered it. That's how powerful it was. Another stat that I thought was pretty amazing was 91% of 18 to 34-year-olds trust online social proof reviews as much as recommendations from someone close to them. So from like family and friends, which is very remarkable. And that actually leads into one form of social proof, social proof, it's a tongue twister. One form of social proof that is, I believe, and what we've seen with clients and when looking at data is even more powerful than reviews. Now you want reviews as well, obviously. The data simply supports, like you have to have reviews. But there's another form of social proof. And there's all kinds of different types of social proof. But one that's very, very powerful. In fact, I'm helping a friend. His business, they did something insane, like 40 or 50 million last year. Something really, really remarkable. And they're implementing this more, which is UGC. That's user generated content. Now, that's basically a fancy term for people taking selfies with your product and taking pictures of it with them holding it, and also doing even video type reviews. We could consider that user generated content. And the reason it's so powerful is another statistic. 85% of people trust user generated content as much as getting a recommendation from a friend, and more than anything else a brand will put out. That's what it is. It's 85% of buyers, of shoppers, will trust user-generated content. So content that looks like it's from other people who've used the product, they will trust it as or more than anything else a brand will put out. So you think about how powerful that is. We look at how 91% of shoppers, 18 to 34, I think, are looking at reviews and trust it as much as a friend. And then you look at 85% of people trust user-generated content more than anything else a brand will put out. It's no wonder why it's so powerful. And it's the strongest form of social proof because it's a clear indication that the tribe, it's not just reading it, right? It's not just reading a review. It's a visual that someone is happy with the product. And it's a clear indication to us, like as humans, right? When we look at when we look at how we're built to look at what the tribe is doing and follow what the tribe is doing, right? It's a survival mechanism we have. So when we see others that are using the product and it's safe, it's okay, like people had a good experience with it, that's very powerful. So user generated content is one of the best things you can do. And there's lots of different ways to collect it. But the main thing is to have a system in place to be collecting it regularly. One of the most famous UGC campaigns was years ago. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. Was Coke? I think they had a Share a Coke campaign where it was just thousands of images of people taking pictures and taking pictures of different Coke branded products and things. I think it's one of the most successful campaigns they've ever had. So the main point of this is to make sure you're baking in a process, because this is the hard thing is, again, after working with a lot of clients, I know, and doing it in our own brands, I know that it's challenging to like, all right, we got to get some user generated content, all right, we got to get selfies or we got to get people doing something. But how do you collect it? And when you're scrambling to get it, it can feel like you're sort of playing whack-a-mole. The main thing is to have a system to systematically do it. So it's basically on autopilot and you're able to actually work, on the business and not be running around trying to get people to take pictures of your stuff. So, but the stats definitely support this. So I encourage you to just make it a point and just do it slowly, right? It's an iterative process. Every time you layer on another piece of the puzzle that allows you to get more of that UGC, more of that user generated content, in addition to your reviews, in addition to influencers sharing your product, in addition to any blog content you get out there. But UGC is very, very powerful. And the main thing is just to systematize it so it just keeps happening. And like the law of, I've talked about the law of compounding and how powerful it is. Just like interest, there's not any one interest payment that makes you rich, right? It's the compounding interest. It's the interest on the interest on the interest on the interest. It's the same thing with these conversion assets. It's not any one social proof image that you have or any one review. It's the compounding effect of review after review after review after review, image after image after image, and the compounding effect. Like there's a synergistic effect with all of them. So main point, guys, build it into your system to start collecting user generated content in addition to all the other social proof you have, and it will absolutely help your conversion. So have an amazing rest of your day. Talk soon. Bye.